I'd like to show you the Preacher's Outline and Sermon Bible in version 9 of Wordsearch. This is the most outstanding Bible outline tool I've ever seen. Let me show you why. Now, I want to show you at first the book of John, the 4th chapter, just to illustrate what this product can do. Look at the outline itself. Look how detailed it is. Much more detailed than most Bible outlines. There's even a part that has the outline continued, like you can see right there. Now, I'll go back here, and I'm going to just choose the offer of living water here. I'm going to go to that, and it will bring up my commentary right away. Now, I'm going to go ahead and maximize the commentary, and here you see a book overview or a divisional overview. Look at this. It gives 4 points for the divisional overview of this passage, chapter 4, 1 through 14. Jesus left Judea. Living water is alive. Living water is from a person much greater than a religious father. Living water is the only water that will quench thirst. Now, it doesn't take too much to think this through. These are excellent sermon points that can go along with your own personal study right here. So when you get into it a little bit deeper, let's scroll down, and it talks about Jesus Christ, his mission, and there was a significant fact here, that he must needs go through Samaria. So it gives information that it was for the sake of his mission that he went through Samaria. Here, I'll scroll down a little more. Look at this. Not only did Jesus go through Samaria, but he went and talked to a Samaritan woman. Now, if we want to, we can do a little bit deeper study on why the Jews had no dealings with the Samaritans. So let's just click on deeper study right here. Now we get background information about Samaria, where it was located, why there was a bitter hatred between the Jews and the Samaritans. 2 things in particular it says. One is they were a mixed race, and number 2, that they had left their religion. They mixed and mingled the religion of the Samaritans with the Jews, and this even made the Jews more angry. Now, it brings up some points on Jesus, the living water, in verse 10. First of all, the water is alive. It was ever flowing. To the Jew, it meant the water had to be ever flowing to be alive. It couldn't be stagnant. It had to have outflow as well as inflow. You may know some people in your church like that. The living water is of God. The living water is a gift of God. The living water is given by asking for it. Jesus said to the woman, "If thou knewest, thou would have asked." The woman didn't even know who she was talking to. Let's look here again. The living water is from a person much greater than a religious father, because the woman had talked about her religious father. But look at this. It goes in and says, Jesus claimed to be greater than one of the greatest religious fathers, Jacob himself. Now look at this. This is what I like about this outline series, this Bible outline series. It backs up what it says in the major points. And here it says that Jesus claimed to be greater than the temple, greater than Jonas, greater than Solomon, greater than Abraham, greater than Jacob, and of more glory than Moses. Not only does it say it, but it backs it up. Look, all you got to do is just hover like so, and the scripture comes up that backs up all those statements. I'll go down here a little further here. Jesus Christ is living water and the only water that will quench thirst. And it goes on to say about men have a physical and a spiritual thirst. Give scriptures for that. Now look at this. Several facts about living water. It comes from Christ. He only is its source. It keeps man from ever thirsting again. And the living water is a well placed in a man. Other wells are outside a man. They're in the dirt. They have to dig for them. The well that Jesus was talking about was placed inside a man, and it springs up and continues to spring up and bubble, flowing on and on. And finally, the living water springs up into everlasting life. It will never end. Now listen, I don't have to go much further for you to see the various points that are very helpful in this little passage that I've shown you right now. But there's a whole lot more. Let me show you. The first thing, because this is in Wordsearch, you have a whole wealth of things that are available to you because of the technology of Wordsearch. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right-click on this word Samaritan, and I'm going to search for Samaritan in all open books. I have a few books open, but watch this. Now, when I do that, Look what other verses I pull up, because I remembered that it was a Samaritan who had compassion on him. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, had compassion on him. There's the parable of the Good Samaritan. Now think about this. The Jews hated him, but Jesus was commending them. What does that say about Jesus? Let's go and look at something else here. We'll go back to the search results here. Here it said in Luke 17:16, we'll go, and it talks about the 10 lepers being healed. The one who came back to give thanks was a Samaritan. In fact, the Samaritan whom the Jews hated was the only one that came back to give thanks. So it's as if Jesus was saying, the people that you hate, I love, and they have a right to the gospel too. And here's another thing I really like. Not only do you have the best Bible outline I've seen, but you also have a master subject index or a topical index as well. Look at all the topics that you can cover just in this POSB topical index. Now, I have chosen the one on stewardship, and it gives all these verses having to do with stewardship, the reasons for it. Now, look at this. Here's one on, I'm just going to select one here called Keeping Back. And then when I choose Keeping Back, it goes to the commentary on that particular verse, and it gives you an outline on that topic, as in Acts 5. Keeping back is a sin. Keeping back is severely judged. Keeping back influences others to sin. Keeping back its judgments and its causes great fear. Look at this. All this information just from the topical aspect of the work itself. So it is not only a good Bible outline, it's a great topical resource. It's also a great commentary. Well, I better stop now before I just take off preaching, but here's some things I want you to know. This work has been 40 years in the making. So a team of people have spent over 40 years putting this product together. Can you imagine that? And the labor and the thousands of hours that have been put into this for your benefit. Also, there's application and support scripture written throughout. It'll save immeasurable time in your sermon planning, your lesson preparation, even in your personal devotions. It has over 4,500 pages of information. Now think about it. You can't take the 4,500 pages to a Xerox machine and copy it for less money than what this is selling for on this site. So keep that in mind. It has an outstanding value as well. I'm absolutely certain that you'll be thoroughly pleased with this work, and it'll be a great asset to your life and ministry. Thanks so much for looking at this video.